Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live tonight on the most important show on the planet, together with the most important people on the planet. To my right, you will see here this guy who is called David Wood for some reason. And on the other hand, we have a very brave fighter, the Lion of Allah.
Nope, he's too emotional. He's too emotional. You see, he gets emotional when
Brother
you talk about killing
Rachid.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you doing, guys?
Good. Thank you. Nice introduction.
I know. Thank
You're
you.
getting better, AP.
I know. Thank you. I'm working hard trying to figure out what will work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, over the last, for those who missed it, for those who are somehow not aware, a few days ago, a couple of days ago, Brother Rachid and Robert Spencer joined the PBD podcast. PBD is Patrick Bet David's podcast, where they had a roundtable where they discussed Islam and its violent, horrific, horrible aspects with two Muslim apologists, Daniel Hikikachu and Jake the Muslim Metaphysician, as he calls himself, which just screams, hey, look at me, I am smart. And during that discussion, the two Muslim apologists basically admitted that they want their opponents, Brother Rachid and Robert Spencer, killed for apostasy and blasphemy, which is very ironic because the entire conversation was supposed to be about finding common ground and building bridges. And after that happened, they have also been making ridiculous posts saying Christians embarrassed on podcast, making fun of Brother Rachid because he was so passionate, saying, "Look, he's so emotional," and disgusting things like that. And we want to address some of that now.
Yeah. So, did we want to ask Brother Rachid? Because I have an idea of why Brother Rachid gets a little emotional when you're talking not only just about apostasy laws in the sense that there is a call for him to be executed in an Islamic state. He could, in theory, he could say, "I don't care. I'm not in an Islamic state." You could be emotional about the fact that there are so many people who want you dead, but there's also this issue of the sort of real world, like you could say, oh, it's totally hypothetical because you're not in an Islamic state, therefore it doesn't really matter, and yet it still has an impact on your family. You have a family, and then you become a Christian, and then due to Islam, that massively affects a lot of things in your life since you made that decision, and it's some things you get emotional about. So yeah, Rashid, why do you get emotional about this stuff, man?
First of all, I want to ask, are emotions something wrong? I mean, is it something wrong if we show emotions? And if it's something wrong, even Muhammad showed emotions. So
yeah, he actually when he passed by the grave of his mom, it said he cried until his beard was soaked with tears.
So it would be like he was so emotional, and when he went to Taif and they throw stone at him, he came back and he was so emotional about it. So what's wrong being emotional? That's the first question I would ask. The second one, yes, I'm very passionate about what I do because it's very, very linked to my life. It's not something separated from it. It's not math or physics that I will just use my brain. Let me tell you why I am so emotional. When you can't visit your own country, when you are banned from all Muslim Arab world, not for doing something harmful, just because you choose something else other than Islam. When my dad died, I couldn't go to his funeral. I stayed on the phone just crying with my family. When my grandma died, I stayed on the phone crying. I couldn't even visit and go to a grave like everybody else. Why? Just tell me why. Isn't Islam the cause? Why am I so emotional when I get death threats almost every day.
Yep.
Like, well, and the guys on the set with me, they say, yes, you should be killed. And you should not be emotional. We just want to kill you, Brother Rachid. Like, what's wrong with that? You just give us your neck, and that's it. I mean,
I just
Go
want to put just real quick, and as you pointed out, it's not just something about you. If they get their way, it's not just about you. They get to take your wife, take your kids, enslave your kids. They get to do all of that to you, and you're sitting here looking in the 21st century at the impact the most obvious false prophet in history has had on these guys' thinking that causes them to want to murder you and enslave your family, and the impact that this has had on your actual family, that you can't even attend funerals and so on. And they mock you for being at all upset by any of this.
yeah, but they're mocking my feelings. They're mocking my English. They're mocking English is my third language, by the way. It could be my fourth because I speak a little bit Berber. Arabic. Berber is my the language of my ancestors. I speak a little bit of that, Arabic, French, and then English. And I managed to debate with it, and they are just laughing at me. Well, let me do a contest with you and see how much you know the Quran in the original language, you guys as Muslims, and let's see what you know about the Quran.
So what I noticed is, so when you go onto the live stream of that podcast, the Muslims try to flood the comment sections and try to make their idiotic objections, like, look at these guys, they're being so emotional, so pathetic, Muslims won, Islam W, and things like that. But when you look at the at reactions of clips posted, especially from that moment, from when you asked them, should I be killed, and they actually answered with yes after you guys pushed them a little bit, the reactions from the non-Muslim crowd are very telling. They are like, they say, Islam is clearly not a religion of peace. Thank you, Patrick, for having this conversation and showing to everybody why we need to talk about this. How can you tolerate these guys when they say you should be killed, and so on. That is the general reaction that you see on clips. So the non-Muslims, they understand it. Even Patrick Bet-David, didn't he say during the show, he pointed at you and he said that out of everyone's testimony, yours is the most passionate and impactful.
Yes.
I believe that's what he said.
Yeah.
These people are acting like emotions are something unnecessary or justified, or even something to be ashamed of, because that's kind of that is what they are telling themselves. They try to be strong and tough and all of that, but emotions have there is a reason you have emotions. There is a reason you feel upset, you feel angered, you feel sad. If there is harm done to you, if you are threatened, if your loved ones are torn apart, if they face death, if you can't see them any longer. And we can also see that Muslims show the very same emotions when they talk about supposed oppression or persecution of Muslims that supposedly happens around the world. Then suddenly they think being emotional is completely fine. Right?
Yeah, the problem with that is Muslims work. I'm not generalizing, but most Muslims work like gangs. They flood always. Yeah. It happened with my show. When I started, they flooded my show with negative comments. And they think by doing that, they will intimidate you and you will stop. I have been doing this for 17 years. Just keep trying. I'm not going to move 1 inch. You can do whatever. You can mock me. You can do whatever you want. I have been doing media for so long. I know what resonates with people. I'm not embarrassed of my emotions. I am actually very proud of my emotions because it shows the true character of the person. You should be embarrassed by threatening people and willing to kill them. Who should be embarrassed? I'm not the one who's not giving a value to human life. I value human life. For me and the others, you are trying to kill people, and you say one day when you will be the majority, you will be killing apostates in the streets. Who should be embarrassed? I'm not the one who should be embarrassed here.
Yeah. Should we react to their videos of? Should we react to videos of Muslims crying, or of them saying the Uyghurs are being persecuted in China? Why is nobody doing anything? Should we just react to them like, haha, look at those people, they're being so emotional, only
Or
emotions?
when they
nothing else.
show videos of Palestinians, for example, crying over the dead bodies of those of Hamas or anybody else, we should just mock them.
Look
Hey,
at that emotion.
look at that. It's so embarrassing. Like, we don't do that because
Yeah.
we know human feelings are not something to mock.
Yeah, and that is a point to be made, because you know, if we held them consistent and we behaved the way they do, you know, for a show of consistency, then yes, the next time there's some story about what's happening to Uyghurs in China, or something that happens in Palestine, and they say, look at this, look at this, look at this. If we were consistent, we would say, "Lol, look at you crying, cry baby, so emotional, blah 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 blah." We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. But I think we do need to bring it up. And when these things happen, we can say, "Hey, look at this thing you're complaining about and being very emotional about. If we were to hold you consistent, we should just be mocking you right now. We should mock this entire situation. We're not going to. We're not going to, because we do believe in you know, in respecting the lives of people, regardless of whether they agree with us or not. But you guys, to be clear, it is not the same thing. It is your group, and everyone outside of your group is completely irrelevant. You can kill them, you can rape them, you can torture them, you can do whatever you want. And when they get upset about being tortured, murdered, whatever, raped, you mock them. So just be clear, everyone, on that. So I think we do need to point that stuff out in the future. But one more issue is it's not just the fact that these guys are acknowledging on a huge podcast that Islam calls for the death penalty, not only of apostates, but also of people for committing blasphemy. So Robert was in this too. So it was Rachid and Robert. You guys are both under a death sentence if the Muslim side gets their way. If they get the Islamic State that they want, you guys are dead. So one, it's important that people see that, but two, even more important, they just exposed another lie that's been going on for decades. So for decades, it was, the Quran is proven by its perfect preservation. Now they admit that that was a lie. The Quran was proven true by the scientific miracles. Now even they admit that that was all a lie. For decades, it's been, no, there's no death penalty for apostasy in Islam. Those passages that you're looking for, they're talking only about a time of war. If a person commits apostasy and then goes and joins a military and then comes back and fights, that's all we're saying. That's what they were saying for decades. Now they admit it was all a lie. It's like, okay, how many times can you guys acknowledge that you spent decades lying to politicians and the media and everyone, and calling people Islamophobes who you admit now we're speaking the truth, right? They called us liars and Islamophobes for years for saying that Islam calls for the death penalty for apostates. They called us liars. They called us bigots. They called us racists. They called us Islamophobes for saying these things. And now they're acknowledging, yeah, you guys were right all along. We were lying when we said that you guys were lying. And it's like, at what point does the audience realize we are dealing with people who cannot be trusted on anything they say? They are compulsive liars who will say absolutely anything at any point, whenever it's convenient, and change their story 2 weeks later like their God did.
Let me comment on Islamophobia. I mean, my extended family are, most of them until now, they are Muslims. And I lived in a Muslim country until I was 32 years. And my dad was the imam. How do I have a phobia of Muslims? I don't have a phobia of Muslims. Phobia is unreasonable fear. Mm-hmm. And if I hear a Muslim next to me in a podcast and saying that we will kill you one day if we get the majority, should people be afraid of Islam or not? Or is that is a phobia and reasonable fear?
That's another very important point, that if you go back just 10 or 15 years, the reason they called us Islamophobes, the reason they were saying, hey, you guys are Islamophobes, is because we're saying Islam calls for acts of terrorism. Islam calls for the death penalty for apostates. Islam allows child marriage, wife beating, all these things. And we said, hey, look at these things Islam teaches. And they said, no, you're lying. So where are we getting this from? You're Islamophobes. You're Islamophobes. Yeah. You're taking all these things out of context. And because you have this irrational fear of Islam, it's causing you to completely misinterpret all of our sources and claim that Islam teaches these things. And so Islam doesn't teach these things. You guys are just Islamophobes. Now they say, yes, Islam does teach all these things. Yes, we're going to kill you. Yes, we are going to enslave your kids. Yes, we're going to do all these things. Yes, you are absolutely correct in everything you were saying, but you're still Islamophobes for not wanting to be executed.
David and AP, one thing I saw in the comments from the Muslim gang that are commenting, you just had an abusive father, and that's why you have emotions. And because I mentioned during the podcast that my dad used to beat my mom when she disobeys him, and when I object, he says it's in the Quran, I'm not doing something wrong. And by the way, it's not only my dad. And you can check the stats in Morocco and Saudi Arabia and Egypt and all of the countries. So my dad now is the abusive when the Quran permits him to beat my mom. He's the abusive one, not their God, not their prophet who made that clear in the Quran. So see the twisting here?
Yeah.
Yep. Lies. There are lies all over the place. And it's so weird to me because it's like every new lie that they acknowledge, like, hey, yeah, we just spent the last 30 years telling this lie to you. They keep doing that as if there are no consequences, and there are no consequences for their followers, right? One of their followers steps up and says, we said this for the past 30 years, but now it was all a lie. And people go, okay, now we're going with this claim. And that was all a lie. So let's all just ignore that. And it's like the rest of us are going, you guys were lying until the moment it became inconvenient to tell that lie, and another lie is more convenient. So you jump on the new lie, and it's just like, at what point do people catch on that who they're dealing with here?
I found this little research which shows reported cases of women who experienced violence by an intimate partner, and it looks like there is a pattern here, but I don't think it means anything at all. I think this is just an Islamophobic research and Islamophobic map here. But hey, I wanted to briefly have a look at part of that podcast episode, just to see the important part where you asked them whether they think you should be executed or not. So let's have a look at that briefly.
Me, Brother Rachid, Brother Rachid, go for it. What's on your mind?
Because this concerns me. Do you believe I should be put to death?
I believe that the punishment for apostasy in a correct Islamic state is death. I believe that that's the correct. Let me finish. Let me just respond, sir. I believe that is the correct punishment, which has been revealed by God, both in the Quran and the Bible. And for Robert to turn around,
I asked you.
Let me finish.
I asked you, do you believe I should be killed today?
And I answered you, sir.
Yes or no?
He did not answer. So it's very simple. If they asked you a question, they would expect you to give a direct answer. That's the same thing they did with me. I had a conversation with Jake before, and he insists on giving a direct answer to what was just asked. But when you ask him a very clear question, he has to talk around it, confirm it without directly answering it, and then deflect to the Bible. And they just keep doing that.
I answered you.
Yes or no?
I answered you.
I think you said yes.
You want me to answer?
I said.
Yeah, you answered me.
In a proper Islamic jurisprudence, jurisdiction, an Islamic nation, all of the laws of Islam and the Sharia, as revealed by God, should be applied.
So if we were in that kind of state, would you do it?
Including
I'm not the one that executes
with proper due process, with a proper court hearing, just like any nation of laws. The laws of the Sharia should be applied, including the death penalty for not only apostates, but also blasphemers.
You didn't answer me, yes or no?
We did answer.
Yes, we did answer.
Yeah, so I should be killed.
We did answer.
I deserve to be killed because I left Islam and became a Christian.
According to Islamic law, an apostate like you would be killed. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And according to the Bible
the spinning is like, it can be a trademark for Muslims. They spin around the thing without giving direct answers. So yes, but it is in the Torah, it is in the Old Testament, and there is a due process. What am I going to do with a due process if the end I know it already? I will be killed. What is the benefit of a due process? Like, we will kill you at the end, but hey, there is a due process. You will enjoy the hearing, the court, the judge, and everything, but we'll kill you at the end, unless you, of course, unless you repent from your apostasy.
And I just want to say, it's just amazing, people, how easy it is for people to walk away and miss what's going on here. You say, hey, Brother Rachid, why do you oppose the spread of Islam? And your response will be, well, all kinds of reasons, but one of those reasons is that if Islam actually were to take over, I would be executed. No, you're an Islamophobe. Islam, no, that's not the truth. No, that's not the case. That's just a lie. You're an Islamophobe. And now they acknowledge it. Yes, you, apostate prophet, you would be killed. Rachid, you would be killed. Me, I would be killed for blasphemy. You guys have multiple death sentences on you, both for apostasy and for blasphemy. So we're dealing with an ideology here that these guys are trying to spread. Daniel Hakikachu, Jake, they're trying to spread this ideology with the goal of establishing an Islamic state. We oppose that. Why? Lots of reasons, but on that list of reasons is we don't want to be executed by morons. And then they call us names for not wanting to die. You're an Islamophobe. Now it's not you're an Islamophobe because you don't understand what Islam teaches. Now it's you're an Islamophobe because you understand exactly what Islam teaches and you just don't want to be executed and don't want your families raped and enslaved and so on. And shame on you. You guys are such bigots.
The weird thing is Jake is a convert from Christianity to Islam. And he's asking us Christians why you don't apply the Old Testament to apostates. And when I asked him, do you want to be killed? And he was like, do you think it's right? He's not answering the question. Yeah. Do you want to be killed? And he said, like, what's the principle here? It's the golden rule. No.
Yeah. Me and AP went through that multiple times. We've gone through that in 2 live streams already. But yeah, it's like he's the one saying Christians should be enforcing an Old Testament penalty when that's a big part of the New Testament is that we are not under the Old Covenant. But telling Christians no, even though Jesus told you, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You have to go with the teachings of the Old Covenant and apply those. And you just ask him a pretty commonsensical question. Dude, are you serious? You're an apostate. Are you telling us that we should be killing apostates? He says, what, do you believe it? It's like, wait a minute. You're the one saying that we should be enforcing it. You're the one. We don't believe we're under that covenant. You as a Muslim are telling us we are bound to cling to the commands of a previous covenant that we are specifically told we are not under. And you're the one telling us to obey that. But if we obey that, we would kill you. So are you seriously doing this? Well, do you believe? Like, how are you not getting this? You're saying it.
Daniel Hakikachu is trying to justify the apostasy law in Islam by saying we all have it. Yeah. Christians have it, Jews have it, and every religion. He said literally every religion. I studied comparative religions. I don't see it in Buddhism. Okay, I'm not going to talk about Christianity and Judaism because I want to spare him the spinning around the Old Testament. I want to talk about Buddhism, for example, Jainism. I take any other religion. Where is the apostasy law? This is a flat lie. He's just saying a flat lie. It exists in companies. There is something called community guidelines. Hey, did you read in any community guidelines of any club or university? If you leave, we will kill you. Show me that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Let's watch this part quickly as well. We were just talking about it. Let's have a look here.
Rights and freedom of religion in the free, and that's why the abolitionists they started in the West. I have a question for you. You are benefiting from human rights and freedom of religion in the U.S., and you are trying to get us back to Sharia. For example, you converted from Christianity to Islam.
Alhamdulillah.
And you want to bring a law that kills the apostate. Do you want to be killed for converting from Christianity to Islam? Do you want that?
Do you believe it's correct?
Do you want it?
Do you believe it's correct?
So he doesn't answer the question. Do you want it?
Give us the principle.
The principle is the golden rule. Do not do to people what you don't want them to do to you.
So you talk for a long time. Can I respond, please?
You talk for a long time.
Both of you keep running from the Old Testament.
As soon as you bring up the golden rule, he changes the topic and goes to the Old Testament. But again, the embarrassing issue here is he is the one suggesting that that in Islam apostates are to be executed, and that according to his understanding of Christianity, in Christianity apostates should be executed too. You disagree with that. You don't think that is true. We know that is not true. You then ask him, so you converted from Christianity to Islam. Do you want to be executed? And he said, do you think it's correct? That doesn't make any sense.
I asked him today on Twitter as well. You know what his response was? What? He was like, of course, because Christianity is wrong, so I will not accept the ruling. And I was like, yeah, every dude who leaves a religion thinks it's wrong. What's wrong with you?
Jake, of course Islam is false. Everybody knows Islam is false. So therefore, I condemn Islam's death penalty.
Yeah. By the way, think about that. It's they're saying, hey, we're going to kill you. And when you point out, hey, should you be killed for something you did? And they're like, no, because we don't believe in that. And you're pointing out, wait a minute, we don't believe in Islam. So the question, the real question here would be, how do you show that you actually have a divine command, an actual command from the Almighty to do this stuff? Because we don't believe you do. We think all you've got are the ramblings of an illiterate 7th century Arabian caravan robber, the most obvious false prophet in history. We definitely don't want to be killed over that. So what proof can you give that this is actually a command from God? What are they going to do? They've acknowledged that all their arguments are lies. They've acknowledged that their perfect preservation argument was a lie. They've acknowledged, and so now the obvious question is, if you had good evidence that this guy is speaking the truth, why have all your arguments over the past few decades been complete lies that you now admit are lies? Why do you need to keep lying to defend this guy? So you're saying, we're going to kill you. We're going to kill you because of this guy. He told us, and this guy is propped up as a true prophet on a foundation of complete lies. We're going to kill you because we lied enough to convince people that this is true. And it's all been lies. We admit that it's all been lies, but now we're going to go kill you because of all these lies. It's amazing.
David, even Daniel, when he says every community has that law, so we are all even. Okay, he converted from Shia to Sunni. He deserves the death penalty according to his own argument. So would you like Shia to kill you for leaving their faith? Would you accept that?
We should ask him to honor the laws and go to Iran and tell them, execute.
Yeah, give them your neck and don't be emotional about it.
Yeah. Quit being such a crybaby, Daniel.
Yeah. As you said, shout out to Rachid for showing up. Good to see you.
Thank you.
I want to say, like, a lot of stuff has been said, but just to get our feedback on the whole podcast episode, I think both of you did very well in front of such provocation, such hostility, such barbaric behavior from them. They try to say that you guys were emotional, but we have seen it yesterday. We have seen it again and again. We have watched it. We see that Robert was the calmest at the table for some reason. I don't know how he did it, but he was just very calm and reasonable. You were very passionate. And those two guys, they kept yelling, especially Jake. He starts yelling and he never stops yelling. And in front of such provocation and such behavior, you guys were composed. You did not, you weren't shaken. You stood to your point. You let them display what kind of a terrible idea Islam is. And I am so grateful and so thankful to both of you for having done that, and so are many others.
Thank you. And I want to add something, if you allow me. I mean, if there is time for it. I saw some comments saying there was no substance, just emotions. Just go look at it with an open mind and see how many things I said. It's not just emotions. Yes, I was emotional and I explained why. But I also mentioned so many things they didn't apply to. For example, I mentioned that Muhammad had 83 raids. What was the answer? Nothing. I mentioned he married a 9-year-old. And what was the answer? Nothing. I mentioned Safiya with details. What was the answer? Nothing. I mentioned Rihanna. What was the answer? Nothing. I mentioned also beating the wives in the Quran. What was the answer? Nothing. But on the other side, we replied to their claim, the whole bulk of their claim, why you don't honor the Old Testament. And we told them, I told them personally that Jesus stopped that. What was the counter argument to that? Nothing. He didn't accept it as an answer. So what's the counter argument? If Jesus stopped, for example, the sentence of death stoning the lady who committed adultery, he stopped it. So how are you going to counter that argument? If Jesus gives the law, he can stop the law. And they couldn't answer it. So we had so much substance. They kept dodging it. They kept dodging the main points. And at the end, they said, hey, he was just very emotional.
Yeah, and you notice you even responded to their responses. Their claim was, no, Jesus said it. Jesus said it. So you believe that Jesus is God. So you believe that Jesus revealed that, and therefore you have to still be under it. You pointed out there are issues like with abrogation and so on. It's like, wait a minute,
yes.
you believe in a God who can come up to you and say, hey,
overnight,
if a woman's going to work around a man, then she has to, a grown man, she needs to breastfeed that man 10 times so he won't be sexually attracted to her. And he can reveal that, and then he can come back later and say, oh, I said she had to breastfeed him 10 times before. Now I'm changing that to 5 times. And then Muslims can believe that gets completely abrogated. And if you were to go up to these guys and say, no, you believe that Allah revealed at a point that you have to that these women, if they're going to be working around a man, have to breastfeed the men 10 times. Therefore, it doesn't matter what happened later. You believe that God revealed that at one point, and therefore that you are under that rule even now that you claim it's been abrogated. And therefore, you can say this, every Muslim woman who's working at the mall or working in some business or something like that, she needs to put her breasts in the mouths of every man she's working with, so that they'll be like her, they'll feel like her children, and they won't want to have sex with her after sucking on her breasts. I
mentioned also Zawaj al-Muta. I said why it was allowed and it was stopped. If it was moral, why Muhammad stopped it? And if it was immoral, why he made it at first? He couldn't reply to that. He just went on and as if he heard nothing. So I mean, at the end, if you count how many things we mentioned during the debate, I think any reasonable person will say they lost the argument. And also when he started giving analogies with the disciples, when I told them Aisha went with a whole army to kill Ali, and he's like, well, how about the disciples? No one killed anybody. No one.
How does that even? What was he even attempting to say? Like, how does it compare to the disciples? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's noticed because who was that? Was that Daniel?
It was Daniel.
Yeah, that was it. So yeah, he has in this mindset. Like if you say, hey, apparently, is this right, AP? I didn't see what everything that everyone else saw with his recent exchange, but it sounds like
I know.
If you complain about Islam allowing rape or this or that, he says, well, you make girls go to school even if they don't want to, right? Yes. Well, therefore you're taking away the right to therefore you're basically raping them, right? So that's his mindset. Aisha marches out an army against Ali. Thousands of people die in bloody combat. These were people who had been I mean, there were people on both sides of this battle who had fought alongside Muhammad at the Battle of Badr and Uhud and so on, and now they're slaughtering each other over a disagreement. And you point out, wait, you guys are saying you guys are united and you guys don't have division. I mean, Aisha, whose title was the mother of the faithful, launched an army against Ali, whose title for Muhammad was the commander of the faithful. All the faithful are slaughtering each other. That's division. And his response is, well, you know, Peter disagreed with Paul disagreed with Peter when he stopped eating with the and had to rebuke him. So you see, it's the same thing. It's like everything is like the same thing in his mind. Rape is the same thing as telling a girl she has to go to school. Publicly rebuking someone is the same thing as thousands of people slaughtering each other in combat.
We haven't sufficiently pointed that out. We haven't sufficiently called him out on that and pinned him on that.
No,
but
let him keep doing it.
What he does is he did this for the third time now, as far as we can see, so prominently. Maybe he did it so much more often, and we never noticed it. But for example, months ago, he had a debate with Nuria Khan, and was it that one? Or no, it was the one with Harry Sultan, I believe, with Harry Sultan. And when Harris talked about wife beating in Islam, Daniel's logic was, what is your problem with wife beating? Because you believe in laws. You believe that laws should be enforced, and you believe that employers should have the right to violently kick out an employee if they become, if they become disruptive and uncontrollable and so on. So if you believe that in one case the law can be applied and some kind of violence should be applied, then why do you think it's wrong for a husband to beat his wife in order to discipline her? If you agree with violence here, why do you disagree with it here? He has such an idiotic way of thinking. He actually really does do that. He thinks sending kids without their consent to school is okay. Then why is marrying them without their consent not okay? This is really how he thinks.
One ex-Muslim in Syria wrote a book. This is for David probably to use it in the future. He wrote a whole book about Aisha and Ali, and the title of the book is the mother of the faithful ate her kids. So she just, like, imagine she had babies and she just ate them. So that's how he gave the image, and I stayed in my mind since I read that book. Anyway, and another thing, when Jake said there is nothing in the Quran and the Sunnah about killing kids, and
yeah,
and then I was like, what? And when I brought it to him, he was like, well, you didn't read the other hadith. So he went spinning. First you said there's nothing.
Well, even in the Quran you have that. Even in the Quran you have that.
I just wanted to give him something so he can to refute his claim. I mean, if we go through the whole thing, it's another problem.
Here. Let's look at this hadith here. This is just one of many. It's just one that quickly comes up when I search for it. Sahih Muslim. It says, it is reported on the authority of Sa'd bin Jathama that the Prophet of Allah, when asked about the women and children of the polytheists being killed during the night raid, the Prophet said they are from them.
Yeah.
So they kill women and children of the polytheists during the night raid, and they go to the Prophet and ask him, hey, we killed the women and the children of the polytheists. His response to that is just, well, they are from them.
They are polytheists as well, so no problem.
Yeah, no issue, no big deal.
And then you have and then again, even in the Quran, you have that guy Khidr who kills a child. And then if you read the commentaries on it, it's like, well, if he as a prophet knows that this guy this kid's when he grows up is going to do something wrong. In other words, if you had the reasoning here, now this is just he's going to grow up and be a disappointment to his parents and so on. But if you somehow knew what someone is going to do in the future and that it was going to be real. So in other words, suppose you were a real prophet and you knew what Hitler was going to do and you said, I'll kill him when he's a kid. Notice for even for that reasoning in the Quran, it's you have some sort of special divine knowledge about this person and the horrible things that he's going to do. That's one scenario. But with the death penalty for just apostasy in general, it's nope, you did this, you have to die. And there's no I mean, the only basis for it is, hey, this guy, the most obvious false prophet in history, who had massive psychological trauma for losing all of his relatives when he was young and developed a severe problem with being abandoned. He's the guy who said anyone who leaves his religion has to die. And now you're going around, you want to kill everyone over it. That's kind of a different situation, even from the situation in the Quran.
There's also a case in the Hadith with Ibn Sayyad. I believe you just talked about a different case, but with Ibn Sayyad, where Ibn Sayyad is a kid, and Muhammad encounters him, and they think that he may be the Dajjal. And Omar then asks, shall I cut off his head, Ya Rasulullah? And the Prophet then says, he does say no, but he doesn't say no because it's a child. He just says no, because if it is the Dajjal, then you will not be able to overpower him. And if it's not the Dajjal, then there is no point in killing him. But they are seriously just casually talking about whether he should kill that kid and just chop off his head right there or not. And the whole problem of that child being a child is never mentioned. That's never an issue.
Yep. So many points.
That is the thing. Do you guys want to have a look at any of the videos they published, or do you think it's not worth it? I haven't personally seen the video of them saying Christian embarrassed by Muslims.
You could. We could watch some of it. I haven't seen it either.
Who is embarrassed? I mean, I can bring like any comment from anybody, and he can pretend to be a Christian. All the Christians that wrote to me, they say they are happy with the outcome, and that I really did a good job exposing Islam.
I know they rely on these fake accounts in the comment sections, on these anonymous people. There is not a single person that they can actually point to who is a Christian or a non-Muslim or something who actually verifiably said, hey, you know what, guys, I watched this conversation and I agree with the Muslim side. They were much better. Not a single person. All they do is flood the comment sections, create fake accounts. And actually, let me show you this one. I posted this earlier on my YouTube community page. I didn't dig very deeply, but I decided to just check one of the people that I found in the comments, because I thought this looks kind of weird. And here's what I found. Let me put this here on the screen. So this is here in the comments section of that live stream.
Yeah, this is interesting.
This guy Kenny the Believer says, those Muslims have me gracefully surprised. I never thought I would find arguments against liberalism and Western civilization in a debate between Christians and Muslims. This debate is a testament to why Islam is dominating Christianity in a lot of places in the West. So it looks like wasn't familiar with Islam very much and is very surprised to find stuff against liberalism in this conversation. So what I did is I briefly just tapped on this profile, and you see the former comments this person also made on the same channel. And then you get this. Mashallah.
Yeah.
And guys.
Guys.
I want to mention one little thing, probably irrelevant, but I will mention it anyway. They don't say Brother Rachid. My title is Brother Rachid. They don't say Brother Rachid because in Islam you cannot call an apostate your brother. So they just say the Murtad Rachid or whatever Rachid. But they cannot. And
hey, you should change that to your legal name so they have to use it.
I mean, AP took that from me. I was going to do like the apostate Rachid. Anyway, and Jake is wearing a Moroccan jalaba, thinking that's an Islamic dress. And while it's the Berbers' dress, my ancestors who got raided by Muslims and got killed and enslaved by Muslims. So he doesn't know that. He's just he thinks he knows Islam, he knows the tradition. One more thing, he said he will move to Morocco. Why? Because we have gays and lesbians in America we have this culture. He doesn't know. When I asked him after the debate, where are you going to go? He said Marrakesh. He doesn't know there are nightclubs specifically in Marrakesh just for gays and lesbians.
Yeah. I'm still surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm just saying that sarcastically. But Daniel Hikikachu, he sounds like he wants to move to an Islamic country, but he will never do it. And he was asked during the show as well, right? He was asked by Patrick, and then also by Robert Spencer. And what he said is, because there is no perfect Muslim country, because the whole world is under the impact of liberalism. That's why there is no Islamic country that I could go to, which is just such an idiotic excuse. Any Muslim country is a better Islamic country than America. But he's just
exactly. Saudi Arabia would be a good place, for example.
He could go to Afghanistan. He praised the Taliban
Kuwait.
so much.
Yeah,
Kuwait is turning into a very conservative Islamic state. Why don't you go to Kuwait? And it has money. If the economy is the reason, it has a lot of money.
Daniel is a hypocrite, completely.
And it's just interesting because Daniel is like the king of, hey, if you don't want this leftist dystopia, Islam is the only solution. When we're looking at that going, no, those aren't the only two alternatives, and we don't want either dystopia. I don't want the Sharia dystopia. I don't want a political dystopia. I don't want any dystopia. And no, you have to pick one. But even when you have both options off the table, in which direction do people move? Muslims are complaining about the West and so on, and yet they still move here. So even they're saying, no, we like that way better. Even though we're going to complain about that, we still like it better than anything we've got back home. So you've got that issue. I just wanted to comment very quickly on this. I'm this open-minded seeker trying to look into Christianity and Islam. Whoa, these Muslims are really impressing me. And then you look down, it's mashallah, ha, 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 right? That's happened to me hundreds of times where I've looked into it. Like someone will post a comment on a video and, as a Christian, I think the Muslims have a great point here when they question the doctrine of the Trinity, blah, 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 blah. And I'll click on the person. They don't even try to make it hard to find. You just click on the person's channel. It's like, Zakir Naik is so great. All the way down the page. He's Zakir Naik's biggest fan. That happens over and over and over again. I'm the seeker, or I'm a Christian, or I'm a Catholic, or this or that. And then you go to their page and it's no, you've been a Muslim your entire life. Stop lying.
What are they going to say about this podcast? They will say, oh, I always thought loving your enemies is really something weird. Now I know that I should kill the apostate. I really like that. Like I'm just going to join you guys.
It's based. Killing apostates is based.
It's common sense.
Yeah.
So let's look at this. Let's look at that video of these two gentlemen who are very peaceful. Let's look at what they are saying. They look very nice. I haven't watched this video. I don't know what they are going to say.
I have not either.
Let's have a look.
I just want to be clear here. Ali Dawa praised these guys beforehand. Who are these guys? Who is Ali Dawa praising? Daniel Hikikachu, who openly defends sex with 4-year-olds. 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 We can only assume that Jake approves something similar. He might say 9 or something like that, or he might say 8 or 9. I don't know. But Daniel is someone who supports and defends child marriage, wife beating, killing apostates. He supports all these things. For years, Muslims have said, no, you guys are lying, talking to us. You guys are lying for saying Islam teaches these things. Now, as soon as one of their Dawah guys comes out and says it, all the other Dawah guys rally around him. Yes, here's our hero. Here's our great guy. And it's like, I'm looking at all this as they don't realize what they're doing by acknowledging so many lies so quickly. When you acknowledge everything you've been saying about Islam for the past 30 years has all been a lie. And now you think, oh, we'll just show how based and strong we are and how we stick with our sources. Like, wait a minute. So you were lying about your sources all this time, but now you're the guys who always stand up for your sources. Suddenly, when it became convenient, because the whole world started going, it would be cool if people just said what they meant and just defended it and just put their foot down and said, this is what we believe. And all of a sudden you guys go, oh, okay, let's do that for a while then and see how that works. And they're represented as they're the champions of standing up for the truth, when literally they're acknowledging everything they've been saying for the past 30 years has all been lies. And they're the ones we can trust now because they stick up for their sources. Bunch of liars.
David just claimed that Daniel Ikechukwu believes in having sex with 4-year-olds, which must be a lie. That cannot possibly be true.
Hey, brother Rachid, do you see what his laptop says? It says predator. He acknowledges that he's a predator.
Okay. So let's see.
There are signs of physical maturity. It becomes permissible for the husband in Islamic law to have marital relationships or consummate the relation with his bride. And this is the example of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Do you know what precocious puberty is?
Starting puberty unusually early.
Is there anything in Islam that prevents you from, a man marrying a 5-year-old that started precocious puberty?
You can arrange a marriage even as an infant, but that doesn't mean that sex is allowed.
Could a man have a marriage to a 5-year-old consummated if she started precocious puberty?
If she starts showing signs of physical maturity, then yes, that's permissible. As I
said,
said,
age 4?
Sex with a 5-year-old.
If there are signs of
signs, what kind of signs?
Yeah, so Rachid, inspiring philosophy there, he's pointing out that there's something called precocious puberty. That's where girls, because of some problem in their butt, they get puberty early, like age 4 or 5. IP points out that there are even cases of babies going through puberty. And so he's pointing out, hey, you're saying, and Rachid, you know this, they have this in some of their legal rulings of their schools about waiting for puberty. The Quran specifically refers to marrying, having sex with, and divorcing girls all before the age of puberty. And according to the Hadith, doesn't sound like Aisha had reached puberty. No. And so what Daniel's saying is actually better. He's actually way better than his God and his prophet, because his God and his prophet don't even require puberty, but he's saying signs of maturity. So anyway, he's saying, yeah, you're waiting for signs of maturity. In other words, signs that a girl's going through puberty. IP points out, wait a minute, they're even 4 and 5-year-olds, even all the way down to 11 months old, who go through puberty early. And Daniel's response to the 11-month-old was, well, the parents wouldn't allow it. But for everything else, the 4-year-old and the 5-year-old, yes, you could marry and consummate the marriage as long as she is showing, this signs of precocious puberty. So she gets her menstrual cycle really, really early, like a 4-year-old. And he's saying, yeah, you can have sex with. It's sick, exactly. And but notice, that's the point. This guy is the one Muslims around the world are now rallying around as their new champion. We love this guy. Wait a minute. For years we said that's what Islam teaches. For years we said that's what Islam teaches. You called us liars. You called us liars every single step of the way. Now your guys say it, and you love him. You love him for saying they love this guy for saying what we've been saying for decades now.
We're proud of that.
Proud of it.
Yeah. I have to leave. So.
Oh, you have to leave? Okay.
Yeah, he told us he could be with us.
Oh,
for an hour
that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate you guys, and keep doing the great work you're doing, and hopefully we can comment on another episode on other stuff, but there is a lot to digest there and a lot to show people, and I think this exposed them, and I'm sure how many comments I got on my Twitter account, and people are just commenting left and right. It just shows I put my hand in the right spot on a nest, and now they are trying to bombard me. So I'm going to do more in English. I was focusing on Arabic, but I will do more in English to expose them. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, and Brother Rachid, if you see any video or if anyone sends you a video that you want to discuss in a live stream, if someone sends you a 10-minute video of some guy saying this about the discussion or whatever, you want to cover it, let us know. We'd be happy to join you for a live stream. All
right. Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right. Thank you, Rachid. Okay. KKK.
Finally, we can get back to logic and reason and get rid of all the emotion.
Sick of emotions of crying.
Sick of all people. Oh, they're gonna kill me, and I can't see my family anymore. Oh,
so messed up. So messed up.
I love these guys, man. They seriously don't realize what they're doing. It is awesome. They've been aligned with the political left for decades. Now they're spitting in their faces, saying we're going to go out on their own. We're going to go out on our own, and we're going to impress everyone by just saying, yeah, we're going to kill all the apostates. Yeah, we're going to marry little kids. Yeah, we're going to do all this, and people are going to be impressed that we're so base that we're saying all of this, and not realizing, yeah, you are going to get some people who are impressed by that, and yes, you can probably impress your fans, but the entire world that you've duped for decades into thinking that the people who talk like this are just misunderstanding Islam. Now the entire world's going to find out, wait a minute, they were lying that entire time, just like Robert Spencer said, just like all these guys said, that was all lies. Uh-oh. And they think it's going to go well for them because they're thumping their chest. This is hilarious to watch. And no, this isn't going to lead to avalanche of apostasy 2.0, bigger, better avalanche.
Sorry. Yeah. Fantastic. Do you want to have a look at the video of these idiots, or what do you think?
It's totally up to you. Totally up to you. They're don't call them idiots, call them super geniuses. What they are. They're tactical geniuses.
Super genius idiots.
These are the guys who said, hey, for all these years, we've been completely protected from criticism by politicians, journalists, educators, entertainers. They all rallied around us and said, you will not criticize their prophet, or we will help them label you Islamophobes. And now they're just spitting in all their faces, all the people who've protected them for all these years. And so they're going to lose that protection. And all of a sudden it will be perfectly acceptable to criticize Muhammad and the Quran and so on. And they don't realize they don't realize what a sweet deal you had. Wait, all you had to do is pretend to be aligned with this group politically. And these groups, which control a lot of the media, which control the entire education system, which control all these different groups, all these different areas of influence, they're all protecting you. And now you're saying, we don't want that anymore. Get rid of all that. And thinking that this is going to go well for you. I mean, my goodness, if they hadn't had that 20 years ago, I mean, the avalanche would be so much worse right now if people were just allowed to blast away at their false claims. And now we're getting to a point where we're going to be able to, and these are the guys who did it, man. These are the champions. These guys, Daniel Hakikatu, Sheikh Uthman. Oh, they got me. The Islamophobes got me. They do not realize what they did. It is awesome.
Yeah, did you notice that Patrick Bet-David actually went to the Dean show to talk about?
I haven't seen that either. We could do an entire live stream. I just want to
look at a very brief thing here that he says at the beginning, because people are apparently some people are mad from both sides, others are happy about it. But I just want to have a brief look at what he says at the beginning.
So hang on. This is, just to be clear, this is Eddie from the Dean show, who's on the side with Daniel and Jake and Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawah. Notice all people who support child marriage. You've got Ali Dawah and Muhammad Hijab who support secret second marriages. In other words, if you're married and your wife doesn't want you to get a second, third, fourth wife, you just do it secretly. She doesn't have to know. Daniel Hakikatu defends wife beating. All these guys. I mean, Muhammad Hijab says that, if you just go with the Quran, you'll conclude that you can have sex with a 5-year-old. And, he believes you're supposed to go outside the Quran to find out from Muhammad that, it's a good idea to wait until she's 9 or something like that. Ali Dawah says that if his daughter reached her first period by the age of 9, he'd tell her she's ready to be married. Daniel Hakikatu, doesn't matter if she's 4, doesn't matter if she's 5, as long as there are some signs of maturity. These are the guys that are now being promoted keep in mind, it doesn't mean he agrees with them, but these guys are being platformed by very large live streams. And Eddie from
let's see what he says. Maybe
Eddie's apparently loving it.
Maybe he says, I regret doing this. I realize now that Islam is violent, that building bridges is not possible. Maybe that's what he's saying. I don't know. Let's have a look.
Let's ambush them, and we said, no, we're going to be just doing a regular discussion together, and then you were able to orchestrate a Zoom between myself, yourself, and him, which was a phenomenal call. And then that led to Jake coming on and Daniel coming on, which, by the way, I thought they did a very good job. And Robert Spencer, he came and he represented his views, his philosophies, love him or hate him. He did what he was going to come and do. And I was impressed by Brother Rachid as well, by the way. To me, like, the two that were most impressive was Brother Rachid and Jake, because I know of Daniel and I know of Robert. I know what they were going to do, but I was impressed by them. The challenge is with what the goal I have in mind after spending 2.5 hours with them. Progress is going to take a minute. It's not going to happen overnight with one debate or one discussion or one podcast or one show.
Oh my goodness, pause it. That's awesome.
Yeah, he realizes that it's not really possible to build the bridge, right?
Yeah, and that's, I mean, we could have told him that, right? But I mean, think about this. You're going just back like to his interview with Andrew Tate and so on, and he really thinks, wait a minute, Christians and Muslims agree on certain things. Why are we arguing with each other when we could just unite on things that upset both of us? Why can't we unite and we'd have a stronger front? And my goodness, man, Christians, 2.2 billion people, Muslims, almost 2 billion people. We've got half the world's population. Why can't we unite? We can get everything done. And realizing, one side wants to massacre apostates and subjugate the people who aren't apostate, kill the blasphemers. Maybe this building bridges over Dylan Mulvaney is not gonna work.
What's
right
nice
now.
is he again praised Brother Rachid and said, I was very impressed by him. So praises him again. Apparently the Muslims are not getting the point here that everyone else is getting. They're not getting the point which Patrick Bet-David is getting. They think Brother Rashid's presentation, Brother Rashid's the way he expressed himself on the show, it was pathetic, embarrassing, this and that. But people who actually watch it, and people who host it, think it was very impactful and very impressive. This is the second time that I see him explicitly and clearly stand on that and highlight that the fact that he found Brother Rachid so impressive. And guess what? So the entire purpose of this conversation was, according to Patrick beforehand, to find common ground, to come together, to have unity, to work together. And after just that one episode where the Muslims
burning in
said
flames
that you guys should be killed, he is having a realization and saying, okay, it looks like this is going to take a while. Yeah, and he says that in very mild words, but you can see the agony on his face.
And so, yeah, guys, think about that, because this is the reaction lots of people are going to have. There are lots of people who are freaked out about drag queen story hour and stuff like that and wondering, what can we do? And they realize, and so you have Christian parents. To be clear, there are atheists. There are plenty of atheist parents who don't want their kids going to drag queen story hour and stuff like that. So anyway, it's acknowledging, wait a minute, there are all these groups that are constantly fighting among each other, arguing with each other, and yet they agree on this. Why can't we all let it be known that we agree on this, and then we can sort of unite around this common cause that people from all kinds of different groups agree on? Why can't we unite on this? And there are lots of people who are thinking like that. There were lots of people. We saw it. We saw it with every new recommendation that Christians and Muslims should be working together on things. And this is a guy who really thought he brought this together specifically to, I mean, it's clear what he wanted. He wants, at the beginning of the show, hey, let's talk about some of our disagreements, and then let's get on to the things we agree on and that we can rally around. And you could tell he understood as he was even trying to get to some of the points of agreement. He already understood during the show. This did not work at all. It is not going to work. This cannot happen. And so you're in this situation where his hopes for this united front were just dashed. And he said, wow, he realizes it. But guess what? All his followers who didn't know, hey, these guys want to kill these other guys. His followers who didn't know that, now they know. Muslims think, yay, we got this. Well, what was it was, I mean, Muslims have been saying that we should all rally around each other. I've seen numerous Muslims who just say, guys, we make up a very small percentage of the United States. If we're going to get anything done in the United States for our kids, we have to work with other groups. So stop attacking all these other groups. And then you get these guys go, no, let's just attack all the other groups and say we're going to kill these guys. Ha ha. And well, there went your hopes for
so these guys were saying
the united front.
The Muslims destroyed the Christians. It looks like the only thing that they destroyed here is the hope for coming together and building bridges. Because I mean, how dumb can you guys be? I even think sometimes that there is a conspiracy. Maybe these Muslims, these Muslim apologists, don't want to build bridges. Maybe it was deliberate, because apparently Daniel Hikikiju and Jake going there was arranged, and with the help of Mohammed Hijab. Why in the world would you send Daniel Hikikiju on a panel to build bridges with the other side, especially with an apostate and somebody who disrespects Islam? You see what you have caused. You have caused this guy to openly say to 13,000, I believe at peak 14,000 live viewers, and now soon over a million viewers, that you guys as Muslims believe that in the future an Islamic State should be established if there is a Muslim majority, and that then apostates like Rachid, who with his emotions made an impact, which you guys don't understand because you're stupid, that guys like him should be killed, should be executed, that Robert Spencer should be executed, that all of the others, people who leave Islam, should be executed. Now, here is the funny thing. Podcasts like the PBD podcast and other people, spokespeople, I don't know, organizations, individuals, activists related to that circle have been talking about free speech for a long time, have been talking about how the left is becoming too controlling. We don't want this unreal totalitarian attitude. We want to be able to think and say whatever we want. We want to be able to believe whatever we want. And then they bring the Muslims in, and the Muslims go, oh yeah, in our ideal system, nobody is going to be able to say what they want. We will kill them. We will chop their heads off.
It's the ultimate cancel culture.
Yeah. Great job, man. Great job, guys. Fantastic. Well done.
Yeah, and this has happened so many times in history. I mean, groups that are trying to take over usually do a pretty good job of diagnosing some problem that other people are worried about, right? Like communists, when communists didn't come and say, here's everything we're going to do to you. It's, hey, look at this problem. Oh, look at this problem over here. See, if you just turn to us, things will get better. Oh yeah, now we're massacring tens of millions of you and so on. Same thing with the Germans. Same thing with Islam. It's, hey, look at this problem that you're worried about. We're the solution, even though we are massively worse than the problems that you are pointing out. So no, but notice, you're sitting here, you're wondering, hey, did these guys have any intention of building bridges, talking about the Muslim side with Ali Dawah and so on. But notice, even though you have lots of Muslims, and these are usually Muslims who are actually concerned about situations like I've seen Muslim women. This is where I was hearing this from, when they were rebuking the people who are rallying around Andrew Tate, saying that is not the way to go. This is just going to cause division. We need to be uniting with other groups because we don't have enough people here in places like the US. We need to be working together with other groups that you are attacking. But notice, Ali Dawah and Mohammed Hijab, their new perspective is that it's their intolerance for everyone else that's going to lead people to Islam. And this all seems to be based on just Andrew Tate saying that impressed him. That impressed him. And they seem to be obsessed now. Now we'll just show everyone. Yes, we're going to kill everyone. Yes, we're gonna molest little girls. Yes, we're gonna beat our wives. Yes, we're gonna do all these things. We'll have secret second wives unless we can shame our one wives into just gladly accepting polygamy. We're gonna do all these things, and we're gonna be so intolerant that everyone rallies around us. And that seems to be the theory. So no, I don't think Ali Dawah and Mohammed Hijab and any of these guys are really thinking in terms that David, Patrick Bet David was looking for.
Yeah. John Sausage said, did you notice that Jake has reading comprehension skills of a 5-year-old? The passage he read doesn't talk about apostasy at all. This is a very common thing with the Muslim apologists and with somebody like Jake. he will brag about how smart he is and what a deep thinker he is. By the way, he just also showed earlier that he basically watched everything that we have done after the show.
He adopted Daniel's approach on everything.
Yeah, and but yeah, so he's not very smart, and which is not a big deal. But then going out there and being so arrogant, to arrogate, to impose your view, and to mock others, and then be so idiotic in your comprehension and understanding and interpretation of basic scriptural texts, it's not really acceptable.
No, it's only impressive to his group, and it'll make him more popular with his group. But that, guys, for some reason, there are people who get upset when, one of these guys' followers praise them for their great job. Guys, this is good. I mean, as someone who spent, 20 years being called a liar for saying Islam teaches what it obviously teaches, it is amazing. I mean, it is amazing. Like, I look at this, like, this is these are some of the greatest things that have ever happened, that people who are actually telling the truth about some of what Islam teaches are now becoming, the spokesman. And on the one hand, it's cool because it's good to be able to say, hey, we were right all along. All of you who shut us down and silenced us and called us names, we were right. You were wrong. You believed them, but now they admit they were lying. This is all awesome. The sucky part is you do have Muslims who don't agree with a lot of this, right? You have Muslims from, you have Shia Muslims who don't agree with the sources that these guys are quoting. You even have Muslims like Sajid and so on who don't share some of the approaches of these guys. And so it sucks for people who don't agree with these guys. But I mean, at the end of the day, for purposes of exposing Islam, it is now permanently Christmas for us. I know, AP, you don't like Christmas because it's Christian.
I hate Christian holidays.
It's Christian, but my goodness, it's like every day I wake up now after struggling for all these years. Can you just read the page? What does this mean? Oh, it really means this. That's not what it means. That's not what any of your commentators ever thought it meant. For 14 centuries, this has meant one thing until you guys are lying about it. Let's go. Why don't we just pay attention to what it actually says? For after all these years of being called a liar for just saying what Islam teaches, and now being proven right. I mean, my goodness, every day is Christmas now. Every day is Christmas for those who are exposing Islam right now.
Yeah. Keep speaking. I have to quickly look at something.
What in the world are you doing? Look at this amateur hour. Hey, guest, can you just start randomly talking about stuff while I figure out?
Can you start singing? I have to play a game quickly.
Well, I have to. While I'm sitting here playing Candy Crush, I'm about to beat this level on Candy Crush. I don't even know what Candy Crush is. I just heard about it as a game that people play.
Okay. So, Cover Keep, you said, Rachid, there is a video. Why am I being pushed out? There's a video claiming you contradicted yourself for being homeless and doing well at the same time in Morocco. So, I heard that as well. Wasn't it quite clear that that Rachid did talk in the beginning about how his life became really difficult after leaving Islam because of detaching from his family? I mean, he's not here. He would probably be able to explain it better. He spent time away from his family. He had to basically hide his feelings and all of that. Later, and he said he didn't have he lived away from home or homeless or something like that. Later, when it was pointed out that a lot of apostates just want to, lots of people just want to go and live a better life economically in the West. He then said that he was doing quite well in Morocco. And my initial reaction to that was, I don't see a contradiction there at all.
No, I mean, unless you're thinking that someone's situation remains completely the same and doesn't change over the years, then that would make sense. But I mean, notice that's like saying, oh, Muslims contradict themselves. They say that Muhammad was being persecuted, and then they say that he was conquering them. different things can happen at different times.
Yeah. Plus, he may have been referring to the fact that he could have just lived there and continued his life because he was obviously doing quite well. But instead, he chose to be open about his belief, about his lack of belief in Islam, and about his conversion, which led to his quality of life declining and eventually leaving Morocco.
Yeah, and I don't even know. I don't even know what they're talking about because I haven't seen it. But yeah, we could always bring that up when Rachid is back on. When Rachid is back on, I know these guys love to. Oh, look what this said over here, and this what said over here, and not paying any attention to how easy those things are to reconcile. Until you do it with the Quran and say, look at this verse says this, and this verse says that, and suddenly they're happy to look for what reconciles the passages, but. Yeah, we'd have to look. I've known Rachid for years. Doesn't come across as a guy who's making up things.
Yeah. Can you check out Damar? What is Damar?
If I knew what that was, it would be possible, but I don't.
What is Damar? I have no idea.
Now I have to look right now. I have to go to Google.
Gore noise bulldozer. We do not know. Jeff Dribble said hijab looks like that uncle you hide from your girlfriend because you know he's sliding into their DMs.
Damar gum. Damar gum is a resin obtained from the tree family. Don't know how that's gonna help, friend.
Oh, is that a band? Somebody said it's a band. I don't know. Band? I have no idea.
No, it's not. It's a gum. It's a gum resin.
It can only be a gum. That's what David is saying. Since it is a gum, it can only be that.
That's it. If you say it's anything else, you're contradicting yourself. Ha ha!
Yeah. You'll be humiliated. Wait. Oh no, I forgot my sound. I'm supposed to play this song.
You're finished already. Look at me. Look at me. You know you're done.
Okay. Jarl is great black metal band name. Oh, Jarl, is it? Okay, yeah, okay, I will look into it maybe one day. Are they from Iran or something? Let me know, because it doesn't sound very Western. WLZ said, XXWLZXX said, sometimes I think the whole world is crazy. Why can't people like PBD see that it is impossible to coexist with these kind of people? Child marriage, sex slavery, theocracy, just madness. I know that's the very same thing that I said, right? After the same day. So the show is happening. On the show, these two guys say, yeah, we believe you guys should be executed. The blasphemers, apostates should be executed. And the world is just going on as if nothing just happened. Yeah. And that makes me think, is everyone nuts? Is everyone crazy? I mean, I would expect everyone to stop and be like, wait a minute, what did you say? Mm-hmm. This is what you believe? I mean, imagine an American group. Imagine liberals. I don't know, went on the show and said something half as bad. There would be a huge outrage in the political circle about this. Imagine one political side said something remotely as violent, remotely as intolerant, remotely as bad on that show. There would be it would be huge. But these people just casually sit there and say, oh yeah, this guy, because he left Islam, should be executed, and this guy, because he disrespects Islam, should also be executed. And we also believe in child marriage and slavery and religious war and so on. But anyway, let's talk about the stuff we have in common.
You're right. It would be totally different for any other group. I mean, imagine a political spectrum like, oh, this guy, this mayor or whatever just went from Republican to Democrat or Democrat to Republican, and our party says he needs to be executed. That would be international headlines for the next 6 months and would be used to completely denounce whichever political party said it forever. But it's here. As a matter of fact, if a Christian leader were to come out and say, hey, yep, we've decided that the Old Testament punishment, contrary to everything we're commanded in Christianity, actually applies, and we're going to kill anyone who entices people to worship other gods, and we're going to execute them. That would be newsworthy. That would be all over the news. Christian says people have to be killed and so on. But yeah, these guys do it now.
Anyway, let's talk about Dylan Mulvaney.
I just wanted to say, fortunately, Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah, fortunately, again, Patrick caught it. A lot of people are just going to miss it. Patrick was affected by that, and the impact was clearly what I thought was going to work is not going to work. As far as this comment, hey, it seems like everyone's going insane. How are they missing that? That is a psychological tendency people have, that whatever group they're focusing on as I got to deal with this problem, they're happy to align with other groups that they may disagree with on everything, as long as you're dealing with that group. In fact, that's how you ended up with an alignment between Islam and the far left, right? That's how they ended up as buddies. It's not that there was anything they had in common. It's they both had some of the common enemies, and so they were happy to unite. And people just aren't getting it. But now it was just creepy, because you had this one alliance, and it looked for a little while like you were going to form. Now all of a sudden they were going to align with the right, and you're going to end up with this Islamic political alliance with the right. And fortunately, the people who thought that was going to work, even like Patrick here, seems to think, yeah, this might not work, because one side wants the other side dead. Which you would have thought people on the left would have realized that at some point. Wait a minute, I'm starting to suspect that these guys actually want us dead at the end of the day. They're still struggling to catch on to that one.
A lot of people on the left just think, yeah, you know what, guys, let's slowly disappear from this whole conversation. Let's act like nothing happened here.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah. So let's look at that moment again.
One debate or one with what the goal I have, because I know of Daniel and I know of Roberts. I know what they were going to do, but I was impressed by them. The challenge is with what the goal I have in mind after spending 2.5 hours with them. Progress is going to take a minute. It's not going to happen overnight with one debate or one discussion or one podcast or one show. We're going to have a lot of these conversations to realize what's going on. I can tell you for a fact, it's going to be very hard, but the enemy is real. If we can figure out a way to see what values and principles we have in common, and which enemies we have in common, then we can make some progress.
No, I still think that he's deluded very much. So he sees that it is not possible, apparently, but he just doesn't put it that way, to come together. But he still thinks at the end of it might be possible to collaborate. You are the enemy. You are their enemy, Patrick. Your entire community, the disbelievers, the apostates on your side, the people who might join you in the future, they are their enemy. How much easier could it be to understand? They declare war on you if they are in a situation to declare war on you. They want to take your wife and your children as slaves. That is what's going on.
And you would think that he understands from history, because his people have been on the receiving end of what Islam really teaches for a while. But you would think that you can realize, wait a minute, these guys whose goal is to subjugate the entire world don't like me. They don't agree with me. They want to subjugate me. That is their end game. And they will only tolerate or pretend to like someone if he's useful. And so right now, why are they being nice to me? I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about, this is what Patrick should be thinking. Patrick should be thinking, wait a minute, why are these guys who want these guys dead and want to establish an Islamic state and want to subjugate the entire world, why are they being nice and friendly towards me? Because I'm useful to them, because I'm having them on my podcast. And the moment I turn against them even slightly, they will be happy to eat me alive, because they really don't care about me at all. Yeah.
I know there's this law and this cliche, which is absolutely true, that it doesn't take a long time until Nazis or Hitler come up in a conversation that takes place online. But it's just like Hitler nicely taking advantage of democracy before pooping all over it, and then banning all of the parties and massacring the people. That's how it is. The same way these guys will take advantage of the useful idiots and the free speech platforms until they can get their way. No, I don't believe that they can actually eventually get their way, but that is the aim. And you know what? I feel very strongly about one aspect here. And to be honest, when it comes up, when I think about it again and again, all I want to do is just say many F words and quit any conversation or any coming together that I do with that side of the political spectrum. But it's extremely disturbing to be an ex-Muslim, to have left Islam, and then to sit down with so-called conservatives or so-called defenders of free speech, so-called defenders of freedom, who sit down with those who want me executed by any means without forgiveness, and to watch them say to the Muslims, hey, you know what, you guys and we should come together and we should work together. We should look past our disagreements and we should work together. Like, I sit here, I am an ex-Muslim, I left Islam. There is no way that I can possibly get away under the ideal worldview of these Islamists. I sit here, across from me is a conservative Western person. He is sitting next to the Islamist who wants to see me killed. And he says to him, while pretending to protect me, hey, you know what? We should look past our differences. We should come together, and we should focus on our enemy. We should focus on all the stuff that we have in common. We should tackle the problems that we have. How do you think I feel about that? How do you think the average ex-Muslim feels about that?
Why are you so emotional? Too emotional.
How do you think?
Just be rational.
How do you think you guys would feel? How do you think the average conservative Western or Christian person would feel if two groups who believe in annihilating, or if one group that believes in annihilating all Christians on the planet came together with another group that pretends to be your ally and said, hey, how about we sit together and we start working together? How do you think any group would feel in that situation? This is just so messed up. And it's crazy to me that for many years, so many people on the right pointed out rightfully that on the left there is this ignorant, idiotic attitude toward Islam and Muslims, where they think, where they thought, Islam is a very specific religion. Yes, it has some controversial aspects, but we have to be respectful. We have to respect minorities. We have to respect Muslims, respect the others. They were the ones who gave Islam shelter, and the right pointed that out quite often. And now you see in the last few years, conservatives, right-wingers, do the very same thing, which they were so ashamed by. I just don't know what to say about this. It is so dumb.
I think that some people will catch on faster than a lot of people on the left. Like, you've seen people on the left suddenly realizing, wait a minute, they don't want our pride flag out? What's going on here? I was like, did you seriously think they support? Are you serious? You seriously thought they were on your side this entire time? You were protecting them and protecting their profit from criticism. You thought this was because they agreed with you. That's insane. But it looks like, just look at PBD there. He seems to have caught on real quick. Oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. This isn't how I thought it was going to be.
The same thing happened with Jordan Peterson. They tried to use Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson made the same dumb mistake and said, we guys should come together. We have a lot of things in common. Let's stop.
So many things in common.
Let's stop fighting, man.
We both make our bed in the morning.
Yeah, we both drink water. Like, how about that?
We both believe in lobsters.
And then he quickly got disappointed and went on a show and said, I don't buy your ally. You're misogynistic. How about no? But
that was awesome clip.
But here's the thing. I want to say one thing I want to be very honest about this. And I'm sorry, guys can disagree with me on that, but I don't really care. I think this is very much true. It wouldn't have taken nearly this long with the progressive leftists if they sat at the table with the Muslims and the Muslims said stuff like, oh, yeah, we believe in executing your guys. We believe in executing gay people, and yeah, we believe in beating women and stuff like. It wouldn't have taken nearly this long.
Mm-hmm. That's true. So yeah, it is cool that it's just funny that the people sitting down with Muslims. You're right, Jordan Peterson and they're sitting down thinking, "Hey, we're going to sit down, we're going to briefly discuss some of our disagreements, and then we're going to get to what we agree on. We're going to find out we all want the same thing. We're just going to unite, and then we'll have this awesome global alliance." And they sit down with them, and whoa, you think, wait, hey, I had no idea. Oh darn, this isn't going to work at all. How about no?
How about no? Yeah.
And it's just hilarious that, I mean, think about this, because Jordan Peterson, Patrick, they were primed. They were looking for the alliance. They wanted the alliance. They wanted it because they're focused on these things over here that they're worried about, and they think Muslims agree with them, and they want to go about it. Who are the representatives that got pushed towards them, right? Not this or that. I mean, it occasionally happened where he would end up talking to a comparatively laid back Muslim and so on. But they end up with people like Muhammad Hijab or Daniel Hakikachu. And then even if they don't find it out in the context of the discussion, it gets pointed out to them later. Wait a minute. Do you know who this guy is? Do you know what this guy supports? It gets pointed out to them. And then, yeah, I want nothing to do with it. It's just hilarious. Like, these guys were primed and ready for an alliance with Muslims, that Muslims would have access to these huge platforms and to these huge audiences that don't know anything about Islam. The audiences they're ready for the dawah. They're ready for you to give dawah. And you the guys you put forward, we're gonna kill the apostate. Oh, that's what we do. We're gonna marry little kids. We're gonna beat our wives into submission. We're gonna have our secret second, third, fourth wives. And we're gonna enslave you. And it's like, you just scared them into reality. They scared these guys into reality, and that's good.
I mean, really, just what I just said. Do you guys think that if a prominent leftist podcast hosted Islamists in hopes of finding common ground, and the Islamists said, "Oh yeah, we absolutely believe in executing gay people, and yeah, we also think that we should have the right to beat our wives," do you really think that the average leftist podcast would be like, okay, I see what you mean. Anyway, let's find some common ground. Do you really think that would have happened? I doubt it.
Hey, AP, check the comment from Close the Void.
Who is that? Close the Void.
Yeah, it's just a comment there.
Apostate, Prophet, and Dude, you guys helped me convert my girlfriend to Christianity and to leave Islam. You two are killing it.
Look at AP. Christian? No, I failed.
Christian?
No, another Christian in the world. I can't believe a Christian.
What?
Hey, I recently noticed that these two sounds go very well together, like this one.
You're sick. You are sick.
And then this.
I'm a medical doctor.
Like, yeah, the sick guy and then the medical doctor.
They're both powerful. You can push those buttons at the same time, by the way.
I know I can.
What? I'm a medical doctor. You're sick. You're a liar.
Anyway,
if cloning, if we ever get good at cloning and people clone Muhammad Hijab, and guys, just for the record, I would be a big fan of cloning Muhammad Hijab. I think if the Dawah community had 50 Muhammad, if the Dawah community had 10 Muhammad Hijabs, Islam is done. Islam is completely done. Yeah, that's what a group of Muhammad Hijabs would sound like.
Yeah.
Homosexuality should be fine.
Grace said, "Is Daniel okay with lying and being ecumenical when it's expedient?"
Daniel's definitely okay with lying. We thought he was a bit more honest about some of the things Islam teaches, but yeah, we have figured out over time that Daniel is totally okay with lying, completely misrepresenting sources, lying. I mean, especially with sources, Daniel's to the point where if someone out there is debating Daniel Hakikachu and he cites a source in a debate, it's to the point where people should say, I can't trust how you're representing the source because you lie about sources, or you're so dumb that you don't understand the sources you cite. And so any source that you want to cite from now on, you need to send it ahead of time so people can familiarize themselves with it, because we do not trust you. You're the guy who says the Catholic Encyclopedia says Mary was 12, and definitely does not say that. This is the guy who says that inspiring philosophy is okay with child marriage, even though inspiring philosophy spent his entire debate arguing against it. So yeah, Daniel's got some problems here, but yes, he is perfectly okay with lying.
Quiet, man.
Yes. 5 silver pesos said, for the Coca-Cola fund, noticed you haven't performed your product placements. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry. Yeah.
And this is Ali Dawa's new erection orgasm intensifier Coca-Cola. For those who don't know, we're talking about Ali Dawa. Ali Dawa is now selling orgasm intensifiers on his site.
Was that on a YouTube video?
For men and women. It works for men and women. Orgasm intensifier. What's that?
Nothing. Was that on his video?
That was in his video. That was in his video.
That's nice. That's nice. I highly recommend that.
All natural orgasm intensifiers.
That's good. They probably need it. Let's see. Cedric said, AP Hakikas, if there are signs, is bad enough. But didn't Muhammad Hijab say the Quran allows for a very severe type of pedophilia, a very sick individual? That is right.
This man has real problems.
Yeah. And so that's why we pointed out, as horrifyingly bad as Daniel's position is, he's at least waiting for what he calls signs of maturity. So I assume he's waiting for puberty or something like that. But yeah, the Quran doesn't even call for that. And Muhammad Hijab specifically points out that you don't get that from the Quran. And that the Quran says that this is talking about girls who've never reached puberty. So it is pretty awesome that these are the new champions of Dawah.
Muhammad's Hijab. Damar is from Lebanon and has only one release. From Lebanon. I think I've heard of that group before. I don't know. Lebanon is cool.
I've heard of Lebanon.
Lebanon is the only cool Arab country. Grace said again, is he okay with lying about the real violent things in Islam or for fake ecumenism, not facts that support his agenda? That is slightly different. I'm not sure about that. As far as being ecumenical, you're talking about interreligiously, right? So outside of Islam, with all of the religions. I'm not sure. I don't think that he would actually deny that Islam, commands that Islam is intolerant of other religions, or that Islam commands, persecuting or oppressing them.
Yeah, you have issues where, I think it's clear from the Muslim sources that you can lie about your intentions and so on, what the goals of Islam are in certain circumstances, if this is going to pose a danger for the community. But you do have people in the Dawah community who think that lying about Islam and what Islam teaches is perfectly acceptable. Yeah. But you also have people who think, no, we could lie to this guy about this and lie to this guy about that and so on, but we are not going to lie about our religion. We have to be honest about our religion. So he seems to be the guy who's going to tell the truth about what Islam teaches, but would not hesitate to lie about people or sources or something like that.
We're not going to lie about that.
It's a boot. He's Canadian. They say a boot.
AP, you need the Sir White Meat clip. It's legendary. I know. I need to put
Sir White Meat. Sir White Meat.
And if you know Sir White Meat,
the name I just made up. Isn't that a perfect example? He's talking to an audience who has no clue about anything he's talking about, and you Sir White Meat. Like, but why don't you come up with a cooler name than White Meat?
He's talking to a bunch of people about evolution and saying, and if you know Sir White Meat, he said.
He just watched some porn film about Sir White Meat and so on. And you know Sir White Meat.
That's with his pleasure machine. Pleasure machine. Anyway.
Liar! You're a liar!
Anyway. Anything else you want to say, David? Before we dance off?
No, I think we're coming back tomorrow night. I think we're going to talk about some Islamic theology because our good friends, I'll have to look at the clip again, but I think they were saying, Muslims agree on theology and it's so clear. And that's why you guys got the problem. We're going to go ahead and take a little bit of a look at their theology, take a little closer look.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably get Anthony Rogers on here because he studied a lot of stuff about Allah's body parts, and probably I'll see if I can get the clip of because they're representing it as Islam has this clear theology and so on, and not even. No, you guys have massive disagreements. You guys have fought wars over theological disagreements, and the Muslim community has shifted back and forth. In fact, Rachid pointed this out. He's like, it'll go from one dominant view in Islamic theology and one group dominant, and then these other guys come along and they defeat the other guys in battle, and then the theology changes to this, and that's how your history has gone. And so we'll look at some. Probably look at some. I like Mufti Abu Layth. He's hilarious because he makes fun of the Salafi creed, and then maybe something from Khalil Andani. I mean, he obliterated Jake in debate specifically on. I mean, keep in mind they're talking about theology and Islam. They had some very, very different views, and Khalil crushed him.
Absolutely.
But we'll be taking a look at some of that tomorrow.
Khalil humiliated him.
That's what it's got to. I mean, it's got to suck for guys like Khalil. I know you love to argue with Khalil and so on, but he doesn't agree with these. He doesn't agree with these guys, and yet these guys keep getting more and more popular. It's got to suck for anyone who's not who's basically not like these guys. It's got to suck.
Who's Khalil? I don't even who.
He's your teacher, boy.
Why would I argue with Khalil? I wouldn't.
You wouldn't. You know your place.
He doesn't have the caliber to agree. So Daniel Akikic said, AP, how are all your accents so good, but your English is trash? Makes no sense. I don't even understand if this is a compliment or
I don't know if this. Oh, it's Abu Gharib. That's your buddy.
I don't even know what this is supposed to mean. But
wait, I mean, he's not even AP. How are all your accents so good?
By your
English is trash.
I thought he wanted me to buy something.
We can't even understand what he's talking about here. What do you mean? Your accents.
Which accents? What are you talking about? What do you want me to buy? Buy a dictionary.
Haram. No education allowed.
Somebody said, when was that Destiny clip? What Destiny? Are you talking about this Destiny clip? Is this the one?
What is this?
Somebody said, get the clip of Destiny on the soundboard. Which Destiny clip? What are you talking about? I don't know. If this is what you're talking about, I don't know.
Did someone send you a link?
No, somebody said I should put the Destiny. I think this is a Destiny clip that I played on my channel, on my live stream before. Let me see if this is one.
What audio effect from Destiny would be good?
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think that's stupid to grift a religion for moral context or moral backing.
I mean, it works. I mean, I think it's incredibly popular.
It does work. It does work.
Wait.
It does work. He's right. Let me just look.
And why are the Muslims not upset about this?
Because Muslims are coward as fucks, and they'll take any celebrity that goes to their religion because they think it makes them look cool.
Whoa.
Dang.
They're literally the most welcoming cuck losers on the internet. Like any random fucking person. If you think Epstein would have had a prayer rug when they found him like fucking hanging in his jail cell, like Muslims would congratulate him for converting.
Dang. He's right though.
He's just
he's totally correct. It would not matter. It would not matter. You could do absolutely anything if you have a following and you say, "Hey, I went to a mosque. Here's a selfie of me at the mosque." They will defend you to the death.
But I don't know the way that Destiny just doesn't care. It just
he just blurts it out.
And she is like, "Whoa.
Oh
my goodness." Messed up.
Oh boy, AP. AP, just realize if you ever see me convert to Islam, it's because I became an atheist.
Oh, that's good.
If you ever see me convert to Islam, it's because I became an atheist, and I want a big support group.
That's good. That's a good. Oh, that's smart. That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. If I'm ever convicted for all kinds of messed up sex crimes, I will probably convert to Islam. So.
Yeah. If they ever find hey, we went into AP's shed and found this sex dungeon in there, and alhamdulillah, it's because I converted to Islam that they're setting me up, brothers. I reverted back to Islam and they're setting me up, and the 2 billion Muslims. You see. You see, they're going after our brother.
If they find my dungeon full of chopped up bodies that were used by me for interesting purposes, I will say, no, they're just coming after me now because I'm Muslim, because they want to suppress the truth, because they're Islamophobic. XX, by the way, there is no such thing. Please don't look for it. I don't have a dungeon full of chopped up bodies. XXWLZXX said Daniel 100% lies. He was asked about the setting place of the sun in one of his debates. He said we can use tafsir to reinterpret, only honest about slavery, etc., not the other thing. To be honest, I don't think Daniel knows. Daniel has
exactly what I was going to say. I'd have to see it, but I wouldn't interpret that as lying. Whenever he gets off his regular speaking points, he generally doesn't know a lot about what he's talking about.
He has no clue. He
could have just been fumbling over, not knowing what to respond, and he could have said something. Doesn't mean he's like he knows and then he's making up. He might not know at all.
Daniel is very bad at doctrine, theology, interpreting scripture, and stuff like that.
Even like defending Islam, he is not good at apologetics. It's just, hey, look at how evil liberal secularism is, therefore Islam. That's his argument.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Core noise, bulldozers, Al Namrud, seeds of Iblis, and Damar are all gems.
You're getting a lot of music advice here.
I am. That's nice. All right, mate. Thank you. Thanks for joining, mate. Anything else? Shannon B said hoops.
Just stay away from I forget what. Maybe we can figure something out.
Okay, thanks everybody for joining. We will be live tomorrow on David Wood's channel. This was a very short live stream for my standards. Normally I go 3 hours.
Yeah, long for everyone else and extremely short for AP.
Yeah, not even 2 hours. So very, 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 very interesting.
It's a miracle!
It is. Have a fantastic day, everybody. Stay well. Be cool. Have some self-respect. And as always, as our friend likes to say,
stay away from Islam. Stay away from Islam.